Hi, second grade, and welcome to reading class. So today we have lesson 7, and it is more about the secret of the giver inner. So did you find out what the secret of the giver inner was? Let's look at the question on top of your story first of all. It says, why did Ella May look so glum when she got her own way all the time? Well, selfish people are never really happy. We think that getting our own way and doing as we please will make us happy, but such happiness does not last long. And I think Ella May had, that's why she looked so glum, is because she was being selfish and she was just thinking about herself. So when we think of other people, it makes us happier than if we just think of ourselves and what we would prefer all the time. Let's go into questions for discussion. Let's discuss a little bit some of the happenings from the story. What problem did grandmother notice? So grandmother, she was sitting there and she kind of noticed a problem. And what was that problem? Well, she saw that Jill looked happy and Ella May looked glum. And so she was trying to figure out what the problem was, because yeah, she didn't quite understand. Well, then what problem did Ella May have? Well, Ella May, when she played with Jill, she always did things her own way. So she kind of thought, well, since she's the oldest one, she can just, always be the main person. And it actually, yeah, she just thought that she needed to have her own way in doing things. Ella May's problem did not get solved. What did Jill do so they could play together happily? Well, so it was going to be up to Jill. If they were going to not have a quarrel, it was going to be up to Jill. So Jill was called the giver inner. That means that she gave in and she was like a peacemaker, is another term that you could give that. What were some things Ella May and Jill played together? Remember some of the things that they played together? Well, it was mother and hired girl and nurse and sick old lady. So those were two of the things that they used to play together. Why did Ella May think she should be the mother instead of the hired girl? Why did she always think that she should be the mother instead of the one doing the other work? Well, she was the older one, so she thought, yeah, she can do this. Why did Ella May think she should be the nurse instead of the sick old lady? Didn't Ella May have something that was hers? She had a nurse kit that belonged to her. But just because it was hers didn't say that she could never share with other people. So she would have been much happier if she would have shared with Jill, her nurse kit. And the next question is, what words would you use to describe Ella May? And it would be interesting to hear your thoughts on this, your different words that you would use to describe Ella May. They have in here selfish, bossy, unhappy, and stubborn. And so those sound like things like we would not really want to be called those names, would we? So yeah, poor Ella May, she just wasn't happy because she was selfish and bossy, unhappy, and stubborn. Next question is, what did Jill say grandmother could do that afternoon? Well, she told Grandma that she can come out to the playhouse and be the sick old lady. And what do you think grandmother said to Ella May the next time she saw her? She told her she would be happier if she would learn to be a giver inner. So Grandma, the next time that she would see Ella May, she thought maybe she would have a little talk with her and tell her, I think you'd be happier if you would learn to be a giver inner. And yeah, so Um, Sometimes we might think that we're not going to be happy by giving in our way because we like what we like, you know. But in the end, it does make us a lot happier if we think of other people instead of just ourselves. It makes us a lot happier because we're giving happiness to someone else. So try to remember that. And yeah, let's go into the Bible verse for today. And so that would be on page 18. It says to memorize the Bible verse and say it to your teacher, so you can have your light unit books open if you don't yet, and you may read it with me. It says, submitting yourselves one to another in the fear of God, Ephesians 5:21. I'm going to read those paragraphs on the bottom of the verse there. It says, submitting means giving in. When you submit, you give in to what another person asks you to do. You know you should submit to your parents and teachers and some other grown-ups too. Can you be happy even when you have to give in to other children? So Jill was happy when she was the giver in her. It wasn't fair that Ella May was mother and nurse every time. Jill could have said that's just not fair. But Jill learned that they were both unhappy when they wanted to do the same thing. So Jill was happy even though she didn't get her way. But Ella May was unhappy even though she always got her way. It is also possible for you to be happy when you don't get your own way if you submit cheerfully. So it's good to submit ourselves to each other too, like to other children, to submit ourselves to other children on the playground, and like if you're playing with children or even in the classroom. And I like how you all did. I think you got along really good here in the classroom and on the playground, and I want to say you did a good job in that. And so keep it up. It really is, it's nice if you can learn to get along when you're young, because if people don't learn to get along when they're young, they probably are going to have a hard time too when they get older. So yeah, it's just important to learn to get along and to be a giver inner, and to submit ourselves to each other. Okay, you can go ahead with the rest of your lesson also. If you have not read your story yet, you can go ahead and read it to someone. It's good to read it to someone. And yeah, it's good to use expression too. So maybe if you're reading with someone, you can try and see who can have the most expression. That's kind of fun to see sometimes too. So, okay, yeah, you can go ahead with your lesson for today. And remember to follow your directions carefully, and have a good afternoon.